Welcome to the Bible Nest. Our story today comes from the book of Mark, chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. The story is also told in similar ways in the book of Matthew and the book of Luke. But we're going to follow today Mark chapter 2, and I'm going to use this special tool to tell the story today. The story is about a man whose legs don't work. He couldn't walk, and he could only lay down all day. Something that this man did have was 4 friends. And not just any 4 friends that knew a man named Jesus. And they heard that this man was going to be preaching in a house nearby. And so those 4 friends took their friend whose legs didn't work, and they laid him down on a mat. They each took a corner, and they carried him to go see Jesus. When they got to the house, it was very crowded. They looked in the window. They couldn't see any way in. But next to the house, along the side, they saw the staircase that led up to the roof. And so they carried their friend up the stairs to the roof of the house. And they cut a hole in the roof so they could look down and see Jesus teaching in the house below. And they laid their friend on their mat. They each took a corner, and they lowered their friend down through the roof, down to the feet of Jesus. And when Jesus saw the man, before he healed him, and he did heal him, he forgave him of his sins and said, "I forgive you." And then he healed him, and he said, "Get up and walk." And the man could walk. He was healed. Before we can understand what a story means for us, we first have to understand what the story meant then. This story happened a long time ago. I think you already knew that. The story happened a long time ago, and so we have to think about what we are reading and the way it was written then and what it could mean for us now. So we first have to start with understanding back then. The first lens that I like to put on, the first way that I like to look at a story, is the literary lens. I have to know what I'm reading. Are these laws? No. Is this poetry? No. Is this a letter? No. This is a story. It's like a little play. There's characters, there's a problem, there's a twist, there's a resolution. It's a story. And when I know I'm reading a story, I can read it better. So the first thing we have to understand is that it's a story. And I'm questioning why some things are in the story and why some things are left out. Like, I wonder, why did they mention the roof at all? Why didn't the story just say that the friends took their friend to Jesus? I wonder. The next lens that I want to put on, the next way that I want to see the story, is my historical lens. My historical lens helps me to understand what was happening back then. One thing we need to know is that it was very common for roofs to be flat, to be made out of sticks and mud, and to have staircases that led up to them. This was just how homes were built. The other thing from a long time ago when this story happened was that only priests could forgive sins. And so I wonder, and we know now that only God can forgive sins. And so I wonder, When the people in the room heard Jesus say, "I forgive you," I wonder how that made them feel. Did it make them mad? Did it make them curious? Who is this Jesus? Another way that I want to look at the story is through culture. So I put on my cultural lenses. And I need to understand how important community was back then. One thing that these friends really messed up on was cutting a hole in someone else's roof. Oh my goodness. They should have been better guests in this home than destroying the property. I wonder why that was included. They were so desperate maybe to get to Jesus that they would break these rules. Culture. And then finally, we can put on our devotional lenses. By understanding what the story meant then, we can put on our devotional lens and understand what the story means for us now. This story makes me think of two questions that I want to ask myself and that I'll challenge you to ask yourself. The first one is, when have I needed people to carry me to Jesus? Now, I can't be actually picked up and carried to Jesus, but who are the people in my life? My Sunday school teacher, my mom, even children around me. When have they shown me Jesus? When have I needed? What hard times in my life? My legs work. But what times in my life? When my parents were fighting? When my dog died? When my grandma was in the hospital? When have I needed people to come alongside of me and bring me to Jesus? And have I been that friend? I ask myself, have I been the person who carries someone to Jesus? So I sit with these questions, and I invite you to sit with these questions too. When we can understand what the story meant for the people back then and only then can we understand what it means for us today. It cannot mean for us what it never meant for them. So we always need to put on our literary, historical, and cultural lenses before we can put on our devotional lenses. And we'll always keep them right here, and we'll pop them on in our stories so that we can understand them better. Thanks for joining me today. Tune in next time.